So today I'm very excited to share Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's latest piece with you. So under Amazon Original Stories, she's just published The Visit, which I've got to tell you is a tremendous literary feat. In this short story, Adichie, who needs no introduction of course, has outdone herself this time around. She reimagines the world as we know it, in a way that is likely to cause discomfort, depending on who's reading. Anyway, so the story begins on a shockingly scandalous and perhaps prophetic note. The president of the US is given an address, and from what the reader gleans almost immediately, she's a woman and she's black. So the statement on the TV says, Adichie writes it this way, that the American president was wearing too much makeup. Her weave was lank and in need of tonguing. Yikes. So as the reader tries to process this, immediately we realize that this is not going to be like anything that we've read before. And it becomes evident while the reader is listening to the address of the American president on TV that a controversial act has come into law, the Male Masturbatory Act. The Supreme Court has made a decision that male masturbation would remain illegal, and offenders could face up to 15 years in prison. So in this broadcast, which Adichie is protagonist in this upended matriarchal world Obinna is watching, the president has this to say about the law. So this president, who's black, who's got bad weaves, and who's a woman, says, "I applaud the court for this just and moral decision. We must never lose sight of what this is about, the loss of a potential child." The fact that this story has made its emergence at such a critical time for women in American history speaks volumes of Adichie's genius. Of course, you know that on the 2nd of May, abortion rights activists and many women in America and across the world were plunged into despair when a Supreme Court opinion draft was leaked. The draft revealed that the Supreme Court majority is going to nullify the historic Roe v. Wade, which constitutionalized the right to abortion in America. So that this draft has it's made a lot of people to become very worried about the fate of women's bodies. Is this something that we're going to be discussing again in 2022? The right of a woman to her own body and whatnot. So, right, left, and it just continues. And so this is such a strategic time for Adichie to release this story. And so, like the reaction of this unnamed black female president in Adichie's story about the fictitious and satirical masturbation law, Justice Samuel Alito submitted in this real life situation in America that Roe was egregiously wrong from the start and must be overruled. So this is no joke at all, guys. So through Obinna, who is expecting one of his oldest friends to arrive from America back to Adichie's story, the reader gets a full glimpse into this new matriarchal world from Lagos, Nigeria to America. So Obinna compares the broadcast of the American president to those of her Nigerian counterpart. Apparently, the Nigerian president wore ill-fitting wigs and read her speeches with an upsetting monotony. Obinna is stuck in a marriage that sounds like the reality of many Nigerian women. This is some of the issues Adichie raises in this story it's just going to give us a lot of things to talk about. So his marriage, Obinna's marriage, is extremely preposterous in this traditionally accepted many ways in which it stifles his agency as a full human being. His wife is a director at a bank who prefers for him to stay at home and take care of the children. Does this sound familiar? So he used to be a poet but now he hardly gets out to even socialize with friends, especially unmarried friends. Yeah, so there's a funny part of the story where he tells his wife that he plans to go to the gym, and she shows her approval by commenting on the parts of him that were beginning to go flabby. So in this new world, all roles are reversed, especially in a very traditional Nigerian context. Amara is a breadwinner, Obinna's wife, and she dictates Obinna's actions. He is a subservient trophy husband who's been raised for this biggest role of his life. Their daughter is brash and adventurous. Their son is timidly proper. In the family, the maid is a boy whom Obinna fears might have designs on his wife, like he fears her male secretary does too. Their driver is a girl named Mary. So I mean, yeah, you just start to get the point. Amara has had affairs, one of which resulted in Obinna having to confront the boy. Amara's family and his, of course, tell him that provided she comes home to him at night and provides for his family, he needs not to worry. So when Amara got pregnant with their first child, obviously you'd need a uterus for this one, Obinna laminated the certificate that came with her first pregnancy check. And this certificate is something that, I could have used. So it says, in gratitude to Amara Fuewo, whose body has done the work of keeping the human species alive. So, it is Obinna in this marriage who fights the hardest for this marriage. It's also he who feels the most panic for the well-being of their children. He feels guilty for going out to the club with Eze, his friend, the one he was expecting from America, and even more abashed when the policewoman at the checkpoint finds out that he was out so late despite being a responsible married man. As the story ends, he refuses to look at his situation through his single friend Eze's eyes, and is hell-bent in putting his own dreams on hold or not having them at all in order to keep the order of things in place. So this story is hilarious, and it just looks at different very important issues. I'm sorry, I'm just calling up my computer. So through often hyperbolic descriptions, Adichie plays male privilege on a large screen. Only the roles are reversed, and I don't know, men might find this painful to read. Some men, not every man, men who for a long time have enjoyed, being the sort of person that we see Amara being in this story. And they'll cringe definitely at the versions of themselves that women have had to deal with for generations. But this book is a more hilariously profound look at society and gender. And I think that this neo-feminist, if I may, take on what's going on in the world is definitely a step in the right direction, because if we can't have equality, then maybe we can swap roles, see how that feels. Anyway, so it's a really brilliant story. I think everybody should read, as always. So be sure to read this and share your thoughts.